Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a bit of a different video today on this channel where we're actually doing a bit of some esports talk. Now this is something that I've and ahed about for a very long time. I've always sort of wanted to make sort of these more discussion topic based videos on the channels, but you know, I've never really sort of had a proper reason to yet, and I sort of want to, you know, start now, see what the support like, and then, you know, I'd love to try and, you know, sort of branch this out and things like that. But today we're going to be talking about FORZA RC. Yes, I know, something that we haven't really heard anything about in 2019, I'll be honest with you. And to be honest, the news they finally brought has not been the most positive in the, you know, sort of FORZA community world at the end of the day. I'll be honest with you guys. Now, for those of you that haven't sort of kept up with the news, on Twitter yesterday, FORZA RC tweeted out a couple of things. The FORZA Racing Championship is gearing up for a new season of intense racing action and heated competition. With that comes new formats and rules. So ahead of our official announcements during the 27th of August FORZA monthly stream, here are some details you need to know. This season of FORZA RC will be a team-based invitational series. Teams will consist of 3 drivers and a coach, and all eligible teams that will compete this season were pre-selected and have already been notified. We'll have all the official details on the 27th of August FORZA monthly stream, with official roster announcements coming soon after. Can't wait for all the action to get started, and we hope to see you there. Now, first of all, this is the first tweet FORZA have made, I think, since May, which is, what, 3-4 months ago now. FORZA RC in 2019, for those of you that don't sort of keep up with it properly in depth, has simply not been a thing. You know, there was nothing really announced, there was nothing done, there was no events, there was nothing this year. 2019 has just been a year off for FORZA in terms of competitive esports in that sense. Now, we have had the Le Mans esports series. Obviously, FORZA did sort of do a bit towards that. Obviously, they used FORZA for it. And I don't know if for the guys over at Turn 10 that was enough just for them to go, hey, we don't need our series this year, or anything like that. Whether there was going to be, you know, sort of a conflict of interest as well with things like that. Obviously, 2 big esports events like that going on at the same time. I don't really know. But personally, I from personal experience, it's like having a CSGO year without any majors. They just ran sort of other events on the side. And I know you only sort of get 2 or 3 CSGO majors a year. Obviously, nowadays it's only 2. But it just seems strange that we've had a couple of other fairly sizable events go on and nothing officially from FORZA. No proper RC. Now, throughout the rest of this video, I sort of want to talk a few different things about it. What I think I like about the potential from this series, obviously we don't know a huge amount at the moment. What I don't like about this announcement and where I think this leaves FORZA going in the near future. Now, first of all, the positives from this. We're actually getting a FORZA event this year. I think that's one of the few positives, personally, I can take away from this. We're getting something. FORZA have confirmed the esports scene isn't completely dead on Motorsport 7, and yeah, I guess that's, you know, sort of a positive thing. You know, I don't think anyone was really expecting FORZA to be dead coming into 2019. You know, there seemed to be no signs of it from, you know, the $250,000 prize pool we saw last year. Coming into 2019, it's nice to see that it hasn't completely been forgotten about. The other positives I can see, I guess it's easy for them to set up. They don't have to do any sort of selection for it. They already know who they're inviting. Now, I don't personally know the full teams list, but I think we can all make some pretty good deductions. We'll have Red Bull there, obviously Lage, Box, and Venom. We'll probably have Veloce there, Veloce or Sauber, you know, sort of whichever name they sort of want to represent. It's basically the same sort of players from what I gather. Should probably be there as well, obviously after they won Le Mans esports, things like that. Other teams that should be there, Williams, I'd imagine, should be there as well. Obviously, I'm just trying to think of their drive. Obviously, they've obviously got Roadrunner, Mitch, and Seven Sinshu, whatever you meant to pronounce it. Bam 7 as he used to be known. Everything like that, obviously those guys should be there as well. Other teams, JSR, obviously we're sort of taken away from, you know, the big sort of organisations, now moving back into, you know, sort of FORZA bread and butter. These sorts of things. JSR should be there. AMS, I'd imagine, will still be there. Obviously, after they won Season 3 a good, 3 years ago now, I'm sure they'll still probably be on the invites. I'm also going to say, as a bit of a side guess, THR, solely for the fact that Rich92F1 joined them a couple of days back, and it seems like a bit of a strange move for any other reason. I'll be honest with you. So I'm going to guess them. Rise as well. I'm going to guess, they're a very, very quick team. They've got some very good drivers, everything like that. And apart from that, I can't really think. I've probably have missed a few teams there. It's definitely not, I don't know obviously how many are being invited. I may have accidentally guessed one that isn't going. I've probably guessed some that, I've probably forgot a few that are as well. But those are the teams that I probably say are highly likely to be going. Like I said, I probably missed out a couple of organisations, everything like that. But those are sort of the big ones, at least in my opinion, that probably should be going at the end of the day. Off the top of my head, like I said, I'm probably forgetting a couple of the big teams there, and no offence to anyone. Apologies that I have forgotten ready for this season. Then, so we've sort of spoke about the positives. Let's go into some more of the negatives then for this season. I think there's, honestly, from my perspective, as someone that understands me, hasn't got an invite or anything like that, hasn't even got a chance to try and prove myself, in 2019 for Forza RC, I feel that it's been the easy option for Forza here. They've sort of gone, shit, guys, we need an event this year, and well, this has been sort of the only way around it at the end of the day. It just seems like they've gone, right, let's have an event, let's just invite people, let's get it over and done with nice and quickly. No online qualifiers, nothing like that, we'll just invite people. Now, I know full well most of the people that go are fair, rightly so, the quickest guys on Forza. There is no denying that, 95% of people, I'd say, are probably, the most of the top 1% will be there. There'll probably be a few guys that you think, how have you not, you've been completely overlooked, and fair enough. But, with people like Rich, I'm sort of going back to it, and, I'm sort of basing this off theory more than anything else. I would imagine that, most people that either haven't sort of got a team already, very few privateers left really in Forza nowadays, they'll sort of join a team that's got spots, everything like that. And I'm sure a couple of teams that probably don't have guys that can really hang at the very top will probably, obviously, get themselves into a position where they can probably drive for a team as well that probably needs them as much as they'll need a team to represent at this event. Now, the other things that I sort of and ah about, should Forza RC really be a team event? Now, this is always the horrible dynamic that I can sort of understand in sim racing. Now, it's horrible in one sense because, we can sort of look at this from two sides of things. Forza, like pretty much any car, unless it's an endurance event, you race by yourself. Obviously, you've got engineers and mechanics and things like that, obviously all in the real world, everything like that. I know in Forza you have tuners, things like that as well. But Forza, and a lot of racing is a one-man event at the end of the day. You don't really have to rely on many other people. I know obviously we get teams, but you don't race in the same car. You sort of do your own talking on the track, things like that. And I can understand, why a lot of people sort of want to see every man for themselves effectively in Forza, like we saw through a lot of the events in 2018. Now, on the other side of that, I can see why people want teams. They are so much more marketable. It's so difficult to market a single player versus, sort of a team of 3 or 4. I know for this event, obviously, we've got 3 drivers and a coach. That is so much easier to market, so much easier, for Forza to be able to do a lot more things with over just having everyone by themselves. We saw back in, I think it was 2016 with the Le Mans event, very little that could be done. You had sort of a couple of driver interviews, things like that. There was not much you could do with that at the end of the day. And it's something that we've sort of seen as well with F1 Esports. That's obviously moved over to teams as well, because marketing Brendan Lee by himself is very difficult. But marketing Brendan Lee as, Mercedes Brendan Lee, things like that, is a bit easier to do at the end of the day. So I can sort of understand that as well on the other side of things. So it's difficult. It's a hard balance for Forza to make. And I really do feel, they've got to either make this decision that Forza from now on will be a team-based event, or Forza from now on will be a single-player event and every man for themselves. If they go to the team events, then fair enough. I just feel that you're going to see a lot of unnecessary driver swaps for people going to teams that might not get a spot that then will, because they've joined just so they can try and guarantee themselves a spot, things like that. Or on the other hand, if you go more sort of privateer style, then you just get a very sort of thin spread of drivers, and that's what I'm a little bit worried about, that we're just going to see loyalty go out the window. I know esports is a harsh world, everything like that, but there's always got to be that element as well, as teams want to keep drivers as we move more into sort of this contract era and things like that as well. It's going to make it even more difficult for sort of a lot of drivers to try and make the esports and things like that. Now, moving into 2020, Sorry, even going back to this event, even I should say, I'm pretty certain it is meant to be 2019. I don't think I've seen anything that shows it's going to be F1. It's F1 FORZA in 2020. I think at the moment FORZA's in a very difficult stage. Obviously, we've got the new Xbox coming out next year. Forza Motorsport 8, I'm going to guess, is going to be a launch title for that game. I'd be surprised if it wasn't either that or Forza Horizon 5. You know, there's going to be a Forza launch title for it. Now, Forza Motorsport 7, I feel, you know, we had the final update a couple of weeks back. It's got finally close to where it probably should have been as a launch title, I'll be honest, at launch even, I should say. You know, it finally works for the most part, things like that. Everything seems to be okay now. For the most part, you know, we still get a few weird issues with lobbies online and things like that. But it works as best as possible, you know, the car list and everything like that. That's all for another video. But I feel like Forza 7 now is finally at a point where it's probably esports ready. I'd say the Spectator, there's still a few things I'd personally like to see with it. But for the most part, Forza now is ready to be sort of a more valid motorsport esport and things like that. But on the other hand, yeah, Forza need to make some decisions fast. And really, you know, trying to market a second season on Forza Motorsport 7 is going to be difficult if they're then trying to market Forza Motorsport 8 as well. It's very difficult to try and sort of tie those things together, everything like that, and make it work from both sides. You know, mean that people want to get Motorsport 8 and also means that people still want to, you know, get good on Forza Motorsport 7 to be ready to compete and everything like that. Because that is the most important thing. This, at least in my opinion, for Forza, is a big moment for them. You know, they need to either nail this down and really sort of propel themselves into 2020, things like that, you know, show this is what the Forza esports scene can be like, or this could honestly, for me, be a huge nail in the coffin. I know there's always this big talk, and this is what Forza struggles with, is that, you know, it's a pad game still. You know, they've done all this stuff like the wheel, and wheels are usable now on Forza. I'd still personally say, you know, a pad is the way to go. It either needs to sort of market itself as that, or it needs to try and, you know, it's not going to be able to match, you know, iRacing, R-Factor, although neither of those lobbies like to work for the best part either. It needs to decide one way or another, you know, this event desperately, whether they want Forza to be a realistic game, you know, something that, like a lot of esports we've already seen in the racing world, you know, try and offer places in the real world of motorsport and things like that, or whether they just want to be happy with what it is, make it marketable, accessible to all, and see where we head from there. But yeah, this event could really either be the do or die, I honestly feel, for Forza esports. You know, there's only so much you can do by throwing a big prize pool at it in 2020 if it doesn't stick in this team's event. I really do hope this team's event is exciting whenever it is. I'm sure we'll get details from that in the near future as well. You know, like I said, this is make or break for Forza, and I hope they really do sort of understand. For a lot of people, this has pissed them off quite a lot, and I can understand both sides of things. Forza, there isn't a lot of time. They need to try and get something sorted, and most of the people that have got a chance, you know, there's a lot of people sort of living in the clouds of, oh, I would have made it to FRC and things like that. Probably not, I'll be honest with you. I'm sure there are a few people that could have made it to FRC but haven't been given the opportunity nonetheless. But I think, yeah, it's difficult at the end of the day there. But yeah, let me know what you guys think as well from all of this, you know, sort of talking about Forza RC for 2019-2020. You know, let me know your guys' thoughts and feelings about it. I personally feel like I can understand why they've made the decision they've made. I would have liked to have seen a proper series. I hope I hope there's already big plans going into FRC 2020 to really sort of open it up to everyone once again. I don't think it's really sort of closed down the opportunities that a lot of people are saying. But yeah, I think it's difficult for some because they want to know where they sort of stand in the community as well. You know, there is a lot of bragging rights that goes into FRC. As well, you know, personally myself, I did 3 of the 8 events last year, and I got top 40, top 50, even I should say, in all 3 events. So I you know, I would like to think I'd shown some good pace in 2018 as well. But yeah, it's difficult. I can see both sides of it at the end of the day. But yeah, like I said, let me know your guys' thoughts and feelings about this as well. You know, where you sort of stand on this thing. You know, let me know sort of if you guys like this style of video as well. I do sort of want to make more videos like this talking about esports, you know, sort of sim racing esports, you know, sort of updates in games, news like that, everything like that. I would love to build this channel up as a bit of a hub for racing news over the next few months as well, you know, sort of on the more competitive side of things as well there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. Get yourself subscribed if you're new around here as well, and you do want to see more content on this channel, sort of talking about esports and things like that. I will, yeah, hopefully this is a bit of a start of a diversification in this channel as well. I would love as well down the line to try and set up, sort of a proper webcam, having, a bit more of a talking conversation rather than just having gameplay in the background. But yeah, that'll do us for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time for another video.